Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. A using words on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends used to bug me. Long boys blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975. It's Wednesday, I've just got home from work. I've already chilled my bevy. It's about 10 past 7. Oh, that's good. Welcome to the Wednesday vlog. I'm still on a bit of a nostalgic kick. You've read the title. Do you remember like the first time you got to go downtown with your friends on your own, or you know, just the memories you had of going downtown with your friends, you know, back in the day? Because I think it's safe to say there came a point, you know, where your parents would always look after you, you know, they'd take you places and stuff like that. But you know, there came a point where they would trust you so you could do these things on your own, and that level of freedom was absolutely fantastic. And I have so many nostalgic memories of it, and not all of them are, you know, related to gaming or anything like that. It's just the memories I have of my friends. And you know, it's funny because I've told you before that, you know, my parents used to let me ride, you know, like it went in the countryside over people's houses and stuff like that, you know, quite far away. But I think it was always that, you know, you were always accompanied, we're talking like the ages of 9, 10, 11, 12 here, you were always accompanied, you know, like downtown Bristol city centre, because it was town, you know, traffic, loads of people, you know, anything could happen. And so, you know, my parents were pretty good. You know, it taken us, you know, when we wanted to go to places or we wanted to go shopping, we wanted to go to like the Virgin Megastore, you know. In fact, the Virgin store, when it was a really, really tiny little small store, and still sold Spectrum games. But I remember the first time when, you know, we asked our parents, you know, can we, there's just so many nostalgic memories about this, because what I want to get to the point of being, when you finally get all the freedom you want in the world, i.e. you get your first car, because if you think about it, 5 years after the age of 12, it ain't really that long, and you get full mobility and full freedom. It kind of, I don't know, it diminished the, you know, some of the enjoyment that these adventures you would have when you could go anywhere, anytime you wanted. It wasn't half as fun, because when my parents agreed to say we could, we used to, myself, my twin brother, my friend Shane from down the road at the time, and my friend Luke from a village on the same bus route, we used to plan it on Friday at school, like Friday lunchtime and stuff like that, you know, in the first break, that, you know, we were going to go downtown on the bus. And it was a big deal because Saturday, obviously, apart from the holidays, was the only day you could do this. And back then, you know, nothing was open on a Sunday, so you couldn't certainly, you know, hope to do it then. And so we'd plan it, and it would be like, you know, myself and my brother, we would go to the bus stop down the hill, a quarter of a mile down the hill, and wait. And then my friend Shane would meet us at that bus stop, and then we'd get on and we'd ask for what was it? A junior single return to the centre, I think. I can't remember, it's been ages. I think it was something like £1.40, but we are talking like 1988, 1989 then. And then the bus would go on this massive route and skim through certain villages and come back onto the main road before going to downtown Bristol. So we would go past another bus stop my friend Luke would get on the bus, and we'd have like what limited money we had, and we'd have a whole day planned out. And I absolutely adored these, and it was weird because you obviously didn't have as much freedom as you wanted because of living, you know, in the sticks. The buses didn't run all the time, or there were very specific buses you could get, or you could get stranded downtown, and no one wanted to make that phone call to your parents to say, fuck, missed the last bus, you know, on a Saturday when they were probably going to go out or something like that. And plus, this is before mobile phones, so you'd have to do it in a piss stinky, fouled up phone box. But anyway, the bus would go on, and you see various other people from school, you know, secondary school, high school, get on the bus, and it would stop at the Bristol bus centre, which is still there. It's a lot more classy and nice now. It was an absolute shithole. And then we just had this whole brilliant route planned, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't just gaming. We'd go out and then we'd leave the bus centre, go down into this little bit, I don't think that's there anymore, been redeveloped, I forget what it was called, but there was a brilliant second-hand independent record store. We used to go in there, then we used to go over the road, and there was a music t-shirt store that sold tickets for gigs and stuff like that, and we go in there, and we had this specific route that we had to take to get to like where all the main stores were downtown, you know, like the clothing stores, the game stores, the electrical stores, the cinema, the takeaway we wanted, or the burger joint. But it was brilliant because all along the way we could cut through, like we had to cut through British Home Stores, which was a department store, you know, not necessarily something we would normally go into, excuse me. But we always could cut through the clothing section, then cut through the toy section, and I mean like electrical toys, and then we'd have to cross over, and then we'd be on the outskirts of the city centre. When I say city centre, I mean like the pedestrianised city centre, and then it was absolutely fantastic. So we go to the Virgin, you know, well, like I said, it wasn't the Megastore then. We go to the Virgin store, look at all these games, even systems we didn't even have. Although at the time my brother had, I had a Spectrum and I had a Master System. My brother had his Atari ST. My friend Luke had a Spectrum, and Shane didn't have a computer. So he might have been a bit bummed out and bored. But we used to go around and take this store apart. You know, I don't mean like, you know, power to the people and all like, let's burn this motherfucker down. I mean, like, just take everything in, because we, you know, we take a 3/4 of an hour bus journey. You know, we go into this store, then we come out, and then we go into like all the other game stores, and then we go to HMV, which had games, music. I mean, this is times of VHS as well. It was all music downstairs in HMV. Then you went upstairs, and that's where all the VHSs and the books were. That was absolutely fantastic. There was a brilliant store called the Model Shop, which was just around the corner from where the Galleries shopping centre would be, which I showed you in a pickup video the other day, which it wasn't there then, but this was an amazing store, and this was like one of the highlights of the trip, because they had like airsoft guns, or BB guns back then, wasn't it? Not airsoft. Excuse me, that was a chili I had for breakfast. They didn't have any Spectrum, Commodore, Amstrad games like that, but they had like remote control helicopters, planes, cars, but this is when it was petrol. You know, this place was hugely expensive. They had loads of Airfix models, proper models, you know, like models of Concorde and stuff like that would set you back like 125 quid. I remember I actually did buy a BB gun in there. I bought a Beretta, and it was excellent because you could cock it. We used to pretend it was, you know, because that was when I was kids, it sounded stupid, but I always thought it just looked epic from Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, just like the fact that you could go like that. You had to do it every time to load it, but they actually had Japanese Mega Drives, and it was the only place I ever saw in the high street in England that had a Japanese PC engine. And this was when there were rumours that it was actually going to come out in CVG, and so we actually thought this was official until appearing over the counter, because it was in the glass case behind, and we could see Japanese writing on it, and we were like, oh no, denied. It's not coming out. And then like we go around all these various stores. We go into Waterstones, the bookstore, just to go into the comic book graphic novel section, because it was absolutely freaking huge. We go into wasn't Forbidden Planet then, but there was a pretty good comic book store. What was it? It was in the premises of what became Forbidden Planet. But yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And this is before there was a Burger King. But there were the two things that I always looked forward to on this. After we did this, like I don't know, probably would have been an hour, maybe 2 hours round trip of going in all these stores, having a laugh with your mates, cocking about, drinking, you know, fizzy drinks and that, eating crisps, stuff in your face with sweets, you know. It was just great times, because you weren't being supervised, and also had freedom of time, meaning, you know, as much as your parents were, you know, great to take you to these places, they must have been bored shitless, you know, trawling around, you know, these shops with kids, you know, and looking at stuff like toys, you know, computer games, electrical stores, things like that. They probably just, I mean, patience of gods my parents must have had, particularly the next bit. We would go into Wimpy, because there used to be a Wimpy bar. Wimpy is for those of you who are not in the United Kingdom, is a burger chain, and it was called Wimpy Bars, and they had a little cartoon beef eater as their mascot, and I think they got bought out by Burger King. I imagine my surprise a few years ago when I had to go into the services driving back from Birmingham Airport, and I was like, holy shit, Wimpy are back, but they only exist in services. But they were really weird, kooky, very traditional British chain. It's a shame they disappeared, where you would go in and you would order your burger and your fries or whatever, or chips, and then they'd bring it to your table on a plate with a knife and fork. And so you'd eat your burger and you'd eat your chips with a knife and fork if you wanted to, and then you would tip. I mean, think about that now. Even then, you would tip in a fast food restaurant. I mean, maybe that happens other parts of the world, but it certainly didn't and doesn't happen in the UK. But that was amazing. And then the next part of this great grand day out, because that's what it was. And it was just up from it, the Odeon, this which is a cinema. We then go in and see a movie. Like I said, go around the shops, looking at all the stuff that, with no constrictions on your time. Having fast food with your mates, not having to worry about people saying eat healthy. Then going to the cinema where you can actually heckle and be dicks, because if I did that with my parents, then it would have been hell. And I saw so many great movies back then. This with my mates, which made it such a better atmosphere. Nothing wrong with my. You see it with your parents when you're a kid, but I think the fact that you could tell that they were sitting there, was chaperoning through it for you, gave off a certain kind of vibe. I don't mean that to make me sound ungrateful. Excuse me. But yeah, I saw Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3, Gremlins 2, Ghostbusters 2, Young Guns 2. It was absolutely fantastic. It was so many great movies. Was it Stop on My Mum or Shoot? That was a bad idea. So was Oscar. Oh dear God, the two movies that destroyed Stallone's career for quite a considerable time. But this was fantastic. This was just like the freedom of being able to do this, as a kid, and being trusted by your parents to just have your whole day planned and set out like that. And then trawl back to the bus station at round about 5ish and wait for the last bus back to the initial stop, at least myself and my brother and Shane called it from, and yeah, and then I loved it in winter. It was just something great about it, because you were coming home in the dark after you had a day, and then you say goodbye to your mates, each subsequent stop, and be like, I'll see you at school on Monday, because you wouldn't see them for a whole day, which was like, when you were best mates, was like an eternity. And whatever you bought, when you got home, you play it, you listen to it, you watch it, you wear it, and it was just like a really nice way to round off, just going downtown with your mates, cocking about, having a laugh. This was your social life before adulthood kicked in, before responsibilities, before buying, insuring a car, before going to the pub with your mates. That's not a responsibility, but you know what I mean. But I just look back upon it, and the innocence of it, the simplicity of what you're actually doing, which is just getting a bus and going downtown, hanging out with your mates and coming back. But it gives you such nostalgic memories. Apart from that time where they changed the route and you had to get two buses, and I bought R-Type on the Master System and fell asleep on one of the buses, and then had to get off and walk the home miles in an absolute pissing down rain, doing everything I could to guard my copy of R-Type so it wouldn't get fucked. But even that was good, because it just made it that much sweeter when I got home, showered, changed into warm clothes, and then popped on R-Type and played the living balls out of it. But no, it was just fantastic. And also then the great thing about it was when you were home, that's when all the really, really good TV kicked in. So I don't know, there's something very, like I said, sweet, innocent, and extremely nostalgic about when you got granted that level of freedom where you could go, you didn't have to be chaperoned, you didn't have to get driven anywhere, you could literally just be trusted to go on public transport and go downtown with your mates. Also, sometimes it would be mates that your mum didn't really like, or wasn't very fond of their families, all that political family bollocks, but you just lie and say it was someone else, and even that was part of its charm. But anyway, I'd like to know what you think. Do you remember the first time that you were granted this this freedom, and how did it make you feel, and was it some of the best times of your life? It was mine. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.